You are proud, and you are proud of being proud. That's what I don't even like. You are proud of your pride.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not that everything I do not abandon being a believer. It's the side also that pays the most bill.
when did you start singing?
You must have some really old people around you.
What is your favorite thing about tech? Somebody is asking if you are my boyfriend.
I can give like a 50% discount.
50%? Are you serious?
I'm dreaming in dreams bigger than me.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Hi guys, welcome back
Why are we
to
always
my.
laughing when you
I
want to
don't
start
know. It's your fault.
It can't
It
be my
is
fault.
solely your fault. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Taiwo Ajayi. Should in case maybe this is the first time you're seeing me, it's good to have you here. Anyways, today I have a guest on my channel. This person was literally begging, please, I want to call to your channel. I shall say, don't worry, I'll look for a space for you. I'll look for a way to, so you guys understand. So as I was thinking about it, I said, let's try to do this.
Let's help it, brother.
We had shot this video before.
Yeah, we did.
I think, it's already like how many weeks ago?
More than 3 weeks. Yeah, it was
Like
before,
a month ago.
Yeah, like a month ago. Yeah.
That's crazy. Unfortunately, the audio was bad, and now we have to record again. That's annoying because all the questions that
I wasn't supposed to see the questions.
yes, it was not supposed to see the questions.
You were taunting me with them the last time, but now look at life. See life.
Anyways, it happens.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'll let him introduce himself.
But I'm not thinking about the questions, so I'll pretend.
So every time I ask this question, you would remember that you've been asked before.
Yeah, probably.
Exactly. Anyways, can you introduce yourself?
My name is Olalekan Owunikoko, the Imisioluwa. That's how I'm called, but that's how I like to be called. I am a young man, a writer, musicologist, and a tech bro. Sort of, yeah.
What do you mean by sort of?
Sort of maybe. But yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here. Anyway, so we'll get right into the questions because we have quite a lot.
I think you should tell them how these questions came to be.
Yes. So, I put on my Instagram story that I was bringing somebody to my channel, and I mentioned, characteristics, features, attributes of this person. Anyway, so I told people to send in questions, and then they sent in quite a number of questions. So we are going to be going through the questions today. So can we get started?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
I forgot, I'm an author too.
Yeah.
Author, yeah. That's
proud.
important.
You are proud.
We've established that.
You are proud. And you are proud of being proud. That's what I don't even like.
I mean,
You are proud of your pride.
Yeah.
Oh!
I mean, my parents paid so much to make sure that I'm this proud.
Big. All right, in one question, what is music to you?
That question. So, I can't remember what I said again the last time, but I'll just answer. So, music is, to me, but first let me say what music is generally, Music is a combination of sounds that is intentionally put together across a given time frame, right? What makes music is the intentionality behind it, or the pattern that it carries.
Okay.
However, noise can also be created musically, right? There's a piece of music written, I think, 20th century, that is written to imitate the buzzing of bees.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that might be noise in a way, but the moment it is created intentionally,
it becomes
music. If I was writing a music for a market scene, for example, it might be noise, but I'm creating it, so it becomes music because it's intentional, and because in the midst of all the chaos, there are actually patterns that are running through, that. So that's music in that sense. But to me, music is life, is a method of expression, is a means of expression for me, both internally and externally. So if I want to say things to myself, I say them through music.
Okay.
If I want to express an emotion to myself or expel an emotion, music is also, that too. And then if I want to also express an idea or an emotion to people, then music is that to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good to know. Next question says, how do you balance all the things you do, seeing that you are a believer, a music person, a writer, and a tech bro? How do you balance it all?
Yeah, so I think there are two questions in one. How do I balance everything I do?
Yeah.
And then balance them with being a Christian, a believer.
Right.
And then the second question would be, how do I balance all the many things I do, I think.
Right.
So I think for the first one, being a believer is like the bedrock of everything. Is my person.
Right.
You know, either I like it or not. Or I have liked it. I cannot not like it.
Right.
But I'm a believer, and if I'm sleeping, if I'm awake, I'm a believer, right? And then I intentionally and consciously live in the reality of being a believer, right? So I let that, because it's possible to be a believer and maybe at a particular time you are not expressing or living in that reality. You are doing things that are contrary to you being a believer. So it's possible. But I think one of the things we all have to do as a believer is to continually be led by that reality. So I try as much as possible to ensure that everything I do, you know, I do not abandon, you know, being a believer or the reality of that life. So as I'm making music, even when I'm making secular music, so to say, I mean, secular music means it's not sacred, simple. So if I am making music for development, which I do, it's still coming from the place of my Christian values. You know, when I'm writing, when I'm, whatever I'm doing. Yeah, so I try to ensure that I live from that reality. And then how do I balance all of that? I think that balance is a work in progress. It's something that we all need to keep, you know, working on. I don't entirely have it figured out, but one thing I've learned to do is to plan, right? To put my day in different time schedule, right? So I have like my morning ritual, which is extremely important. That is where I try to sort out everything, you know, I refresh and bring myself back to my senses, remove whatever toxic ideas and thoughts, you know, and then I have deep-seated work that I do in the morning, and then in the afternoon I do some other repetitive work, you know. So I just have a way of balancing that, and there are some things I do on Monday, there are some things I do on Tuesday, because, for example, tech takes most of my time anyway, because it's the side also that pays the most bill, but I schedule other days for music, for writing and all of that. So I just try to work, and I keep improving on it anyway, so yeah.
Okay, all right. The third question says, when did you start singing? Okay, we have two parts to this question, but let's take that first. When did you start singing?
I think if I'm looking at it, it's not peeping at this.
No.
It's not okay. I started singing professionally. No, I don't know. Professionally, I don't know what professionally means in this context, but I think I started singing publicly or actively as a teenager in church. An interesting
story. You were singing
story.
before you started singing publicly,
Yeah,
right?
of course. I was singing in my house. I was singing, disturbing everybody in the house. I was singing the songs that I was listening to. Album tape by tape. It was tape then. Gen Z might not understand that, but it was tape, side A, side B.
Wow.
Singing everything.
I know tape.
You know tape?
I know
wow,
tape.
That's impressive. You must. You must have
like,
some really old people around you.
Please, let's move on. Let's move on.
Okay, let's move on. So I was a tape engineer. You know, when your cassette player.
Tape engineer.
There's a way we say it. Tobati koko cassette ke. And then you remove it, and then you have to cut it and join it.
What's tape? Is it that?
Yeah, the small cassette.
I know it.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I basically started singing as a teenager. That was when I maybe had a public acknowledgement, you know, of I think I'd followed my brother to the teenagers rehearsal. You know, it was a Saturday. There was a children anniversary coming up. I'd followed, and then they were learning.
You were already a teenager at that time.
I had not crossed into the teenagers class. You know, children department has different classes, so I had not crossed into the teenagers. Maybe I was like 1 year or 2 years in. So they were rehearsing, and then I was just there playing. But then when they were done, the choir leader or whoever was teaching them the songs asked them whoever can recite the song or sing it from top to bottom, But nobody did. So I was like, this thing is not right. So I said I could sing it, and then she said I should sing it, and then I sang it from top to bottom, and then I became a part of the choir.
That's Fadu.
Yeah. So from there, main church choir, then you know, just studying music also, then being a part of Rema Mass Choir in Ilorin was a big part of that journey, learning YMTS, Young Ministers Training School, music department. So yeah, that was where the journey, you know, took off.
Okay. So what's your favorite song by you? And your favorite song from another artist?
So, my favorite song by me right now is unreleased.
Wow.
It's unrecorded, sir. I'll tell you. So I shared it with a few of my friends in January. So the title of the song, well, it probably doesn't have a title, but the working title is, I'm trying to remember. Mashiberu, yeah, Mashiberu.
Okay.
So yeah.
Is it the one you played at your birthday?
Yeah, the one I played at my birthday. You were not there.
I wasn't myself.
So my favorite song by others at this moment. So I would just say at this moment because I have. There's always different favorite song.
Yeah.
So I think right now I'm trying to see what song I've been repeating the most right now. I have like a list of them. But I'm a fan of folk music. I'm a fan of R&B. I'm a fan of pop music. So I just I listen to Asha. I listen to.
What is your favorite song at the moment?
I'll have to check my Spotify to see. But I think one song that I've kept repeating is Kosheunti by Sumisola. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What is your favorite thing about tech?
Straightforward. My favorite thing about tech is the power and ability to solve problems, to create solutions. You know, clients come to meet you. Either they have a visibility problem that you're creating a website for, or they have an operations problem that you are creating in managing an operation management system for.
Right.
But the fact that there can be a problem, you can think about it,
And solve it.
write codes that can solve that problem. It's really intriguing for me. So I enjoy it when I do it every time. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. Somebody said they said there's money in tech. Is it true?
It's true that they said it. It's true that they said it.
But it's not. Is it true? In
That
real
there's
life,
money.
in reality, it has to be true. All the tech groups. I mean, you.
Yeah, so I think because
tech bros.
tech solves problem,
Okay.
and there are
So
newer problems.
Other
No,
this thing. They don't used to
So
solve problems.
the way tech solves problem is that it also helps other sectors to solve their problems. So like in banking, it helps to solve the problem of money transfer instead of carrying cash from one person to the other.
Yeah.
So tech comes in, solves that. In
Fair
say
enough.
food industry, tech comes in, help you to order your food, helps delivery. So yeah, it solves problems. So there is money there because there are problems to be solved there. But there's no free money.
Why not?
It's not like there's free money. It's not like when you just
Why
come
don't
to
you
tech.
just want to
You just say,
admit?
welcome to tech. Why you take money? But it takes time also to learn, to get to, but there are opportunities, yeah. So
What's your guilty pleasure and your pet peeve?
guilty pleasure of plantain Dodo. Yeah. So if I really wanted to say, just spoil myself or console myself or just be happy with myself,
Have you planted?
fried plantain with maybe vegetable and fish.
It's weird you're talking about this thing with like so much seriousness.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, my pet peeve will be insincerity and say dishonesty. Insincerity. I prefer to be with somebody who seems not smart enough because smartness can be caught and taught. But no matter how smart someone is, if they are insincere and dishonest, I don't feel safe.
Yeah.
I don't feel safe. Yeah.
Okay.
I will not say something as I wanted to say about this election. But
Say
I really appreciate people,
Same.
and it's fine if we have contrary opinion, but at least
Right.
be sincere with what
Exactly.
you know to be true.
Exactly.
About your candidates.
Right.
Just say it. It's
Yeah.
true. I know this person. I know this is what happened during the election.
Yeah.
But I stand with this person, and that's
Yeah,
fine. But
yeah.
when you whitewash it, or you say, but these people too are also doing this thing, which then there's
There's
like,
it.
why are you dishonest? Why are you telling lies? And
Yeah.
you are a believer. You are telling lies.
Exactly.
Kupojum rara.
No, at all. Somebody is asking if you are my boyfriend.
So the last time I remember that I answered, but right now the question is over to you. I know what I answered.
He's not my boyfriend. Next question say, is he single? Why is
Oh, I thought you were still answering. Yeah, I'm single. Single identity.
Single to stupid. Single. Somebody says, I love writing, but I always get stuck and never finish writing what I start. What can I do?
So I think that the fact that you love writing and you get stuck is all the validation you need that you are a writer and you're a good writer, because I think that all of us almost never finish
Right.
what we write
Actually.
until we need to finish it.
Yeah.
Right? So that should not, don't let that should not be
Deter
your
you.
focus. Your focus should be creating a system
Yeah.
that helps you finish what you write, which sometimes can be, if you share your content a lot, you'll finish more things. For example, if you're running a blog, that's an opportunity for you to always finish because you have to post. That was why I started this schedule, Love Wednesday, because I wanted to have a reason to finish, right? So yeah, that would help you. That would help you to create a plan. There's something I also learned in the world of art, which is your mind also plays a trick on you. Because you're a writer, because you are inspired, you would always want to wait for that inspiration. But actually, if you sit down and tell yourself that you want to finish,
Right.
you will actually finish. Inspiration will come. That thing will come, right? So if you decide to sit down, you would write it. And lastly, is don't edit. I would say don't edit while you're pouring it down. So pour it out first, right? Because the time you start, especially if you're using something like say Grammarly and all of that, then you start seeing red lines and green lines, and then
It can be very distracting.
yeah, it can. So just pour out first, and it's good for new writers. Don't start because you want to write like Chimamanda.
Yeah. You want it to be perfect.
No. Start like you want to pour out first.
Yeah.
When you are done, then look through it. You see things you can move around. You see things that you can better phrase.
Right.
You see words that you may need to remove. But the idea is down first.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Most of the things that I didn't finish writing was because I was distracted trying to make it perfect while writing. So I just focus on. I'm like,
It always sounds you when you do that.
Next question says, how can I become an author?
So I think that you just need to publish. That's what makes you an author, and that's why sometimes I think it's still prestigious to be a writer than to be
It's just
an
pride.
author, because a writer writes,
An author authors.
an author authors, and you can author without necessarily writing, because there are ghost writers, there are AI that can write for you, right? But then I'm sure what you mean is how to be a writing author. So I'd say that decide on what you want to write about and finish it, right? Try to finish it. If it helps, set a target. Announce that you're releasing a book. I had to do that.
That's
get-
the one.
Yeah, I had to do that to get myself to finish up, right? Because sometimes you can be intrigued by the idea that you're writing about to the extent that you don't finish up. So whatever you have, it's good enough to be published. So run with that and it will work.
Okay, thank you. Next question says, what's your biggest failure and what did you learn from that experience?
My biggest failure, I have a lot of failures. I have a lot. I generally fear failure, so I do things that I'm convinced I won't fail at, which is a very bad thing.
Very bad.
So I'm learning to do things that I know that I can do. But what I would call the biggest, what I call the biggest would say maybe that I was in a relationship years back and the relationship ended. It took me a while, because I sort of blamed myself for not holding it down or something, but it's a personal thing anyways. But what I've learned from that is that sometimes failure happens. That's what I've learned about that. We have to move on. Sometimes you give your best and things don't work out, especially when it comes to things that involve other people,
Right.
So you have to give your best, so that when things don't work the way you can be convinced that you gave your best. You can find solace in that. Yeah. So.
Wow. Okay, this is a random question. What has been your favorite job so far?
Favorite job?
Ishe, would you like the most?
That I like the most?
Yes, amongst all the jobs that you've.
I like everything that I do. I like writing. I like working in tech. I enjoy doing them. I've done some other things that I probably did not like. I've been a phone call attendant. But the thing is, I'm sure there's nothing I would do that I won't find a way to enjoy what I do. It's just that there are some things that I feel that I can influence more. That would have, if I was going to be working strictly on just what was going to benefit me, I probably wouldn't do a lot of things that I'm doing. But when it benefits me, but it also makes life better for other people, then there's double reward or enjoyment with that. Yeah. So I like designing. I like working in tech, writing codes, building systems. I love it. I love it. I like writing. I like making music, and I like being a counselor too. A counseling therapist. I love it. Having conversations with
If
people.
you had to choose one of those things to do for the rest of your life, what would it be?
That's an interesting question. There are some that I can never not do. Maybe not be a musician like for job.
Okay,
But I would still gather people around to sing to them free of charge, right? And so maybe that doesn't count as a job. I will still be writing codes, like, because sometimes it's just like a hobby. But I think if I had just one thing to do, I'll probably just do I'll probably just be a counseling therapist for the rest of my life.
Next question, say.
And then we can sing in our sessions. We
Well,
can write in our sessions.
that's too much wisdom.
And then maybe write codes to organize our sessions.
Oh my goodness. Can't believe you just did that. Anyways, here's another random question. What was your favorite subject in school?
University, primary school, secondary school.
Let's do secondary school.
Secondary school. Your only favorite subject, yeah. Junior secondary school would be, I don't know, maybe English.
Were you a serious student?
When you say serious student, what do you mean?
Serious student. There are students in secondary school that are really serious. So I used to face their books. They used to read well and all of that. But
I mean, my classmates
serious.
will bear record that. So I think that they are good students. They are students that are not. Okay, yeah. See, I was a serious student. I was not the most serious student.
But you were a serious.
Yeah, but I was part of the serious students. But I think that even up till.
You used to not go to school and go and play ball.
No.
I don't.
I'm not a football person like that. Yeah, so
That's nice.
I always went to school. I always did. Except why wouldn't I be in school? I'd always go to school. Not in university though. Because that one, I decided the classes that I would go to. There was a class, and I know that some of my lecturers might get to see this video, but if you see it, sir, but she Jenny, we had a voice class because voice was my primary instrument in school. So we had a voice class. 100 level, it was twice in a week, Mondays and Wednesdays, 8 a.m.
Okay.
So 100 level, serious students. But while we were in underscore, our lecturer was complaining about those who were 300 and 400 who did not come to class. So, we were always bragging that, no, we were serious students. But after 6 months, ASU strike, when we resumed like this, when we resumed like this, I just was like, I cannot be coming twice a week for this class. So, Wednesdays, Mondays, the weekend has been busy. I have a busy weekend because of church and other events.
Just rest on Monday?
Monday, please.
Just sleep.
I want to sleep.
Wow.
So I decided that, in fact, by the time I was in 400 level, that class, I just make sure that I attend enough to mark my attendance for the, Don't be like me, please. Be a serious student. But I think, be a serious student. Were you a serious student? Oh, okay. Be a very serious student. Very serious student. Don't be like me. But my best subject would be when I was so I was going to go to art class before going to science class.
Okay.
So
You're in science class?
I finished as a science student. A very good one.
You did music?
Yeah, I did music in university.
Why were you in science class?
Because I was a brilliant student. So I was a victim of that too anyways. But then I wanted to do art class. So for the first time of my SS1, I was an art student.
Okay.
Until the second week of the second term. So I was art student and I enjoyed government, I enjoyed literature. It would have been my best subject. But then, I had a chance to change. Everybody wanted me to change from the get-go, but I was adamant. But then there was a final straw that broke the camel's back, which was my crush that was in science. I jeopardized my entire destiny.
Sorry,
So I had a crush that I saw in science. I mean, it was an ongoing battle, so it wasn't it was just because of it was an ongoing battle. But then there was that crush. She most definitely was going to see this video. But don't worry, she's married. She was in science class. So I was like, after let me just agree, and then my brother made an argument that if you're a science student, it's easier if you decide to change and all of that. Either that is right, I don't know. But then I moved. So I went to science class, and then the day I went to science class, she moved to commercial, but I couldn't go to commercial class.
Oh my God!
So I stayed put.
That must be very, very disappointing.
Another lesson to learn in life.
Right.
Sorry.
Don't let a woman make you change your path in life.
Shoraphobia, as they used to say.
What's the biggest challenge you have faced in your walk with God?
In my walk with God, I think that the most profound challenge I've faced is accepting the entirety of God's love. For some people, it might not be a problem. For me, it was because I come from a background of perfectionists. So you grow up with a sense that you had to be perfect to be entirely accepted and loved. So it was difficult to imagine, or to, when you have done something wrong, for you to cross your mind that God holds nothing against you. Like how?
Right.
Do you understand? So
Yeah.
punishing yourself, staying away. But I think I got tired one day far back in 2009,
Okay.
and I just told God that I can't guarantee that I will not make another mistake.
Right.
I'm going to try, but I can't guarantee. So right now, can we have this arrangement where, with me and my mistake and everything, let me just surrender it to you. Just take everything. I saw that was, the way it was for me. So I surrendered like at a meal, at a mistake meal. Just take everything, because by myself, there's nothing I want to use myself to do. So, and I was going to learn later that the gospel is essentially belief in God's love. So yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Okay, next question says, one piece of advice you would give to someone starting out in tech.
Start out. The one piece of advice would be, let me see. Would be there's no problem that can't be solved. In tech, you just need to find what works, and it's easier today because there are a lot of
ChatGPT.
my guy, ChatGPT, my guy. So there's a lot of opportunities or platforms that would help you, but also take conscious time to learn. I learn differently. There are people. My younger brother could watch a 30 minutes, 1 hour video and know what they said. And then go and take a project and then do it. I cannot. If I watch the video, I have watched the video. That I have learned everything they said is a lie. I have to open a problem. In fact, if I'm just doing what they are doing, I still have not learned. The only way I learn is to take on a job that I have no capacity for, and then figure out how to do it. That was that. For example, learning JavaScript. I'd always watched the video, but it never entered until the time that I took a job that required me to work with JavaScript extensively. And then I was, okay, I want to do this. And then I was learning, then it stuck. Now I can find my way around, JavaScript, jQuery, and other JavaScript libraries. So, yeah. So there's always a solution. You need to find it. Make use of all the opportunities. The fact that you are not able to do something does not mean that's the end. So you can always find it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I think we're almost done.
All right.
What made you venture into mental health? Because you are a mental health.
Yes, I'm a mental health. So, yeah. Author. But me, I'm a writing author. I wrote the book. It's not ChatGPT. I wrote the book.
Yes.
What made me venture into mental health is both from a personal experience and a sort of my journey. I've always been around helping people, counseling in a way. But then I did have an experience. I wouldn't call it depression because I wasn't clinically diagnosed, but it was that sort of time, that sort of mood. Of course, I was still functioning. I was still coming to the office. I was still doing things. I still had clients, but I got to a point where I knew that something was wrong. But that was not just it. I mean, I would be fine, or I thought that I would be fine. But at the same time, I had like 2 or 3 friends who were going through something very similar. So it was like one person this week. We all were called the person to speak with the person, to encourage the person. And then the next week, there was another person. And then the next week, it was me. And then I was like, okay, something is... Wow. This adulthood is not adulthood. There's something. So I started on Clutter so that we could start having conversations as young people about these things that are shared experiences. So from there, learning about mental health, started taking courses to be a counseling therapist. But at the end of the day, I want to comfort people. I want to help people navigate the seasons of life, the situations they are in. You know, the solution is with people.
Yeah.
Our job is to help them find clarity and to empower them to make the decisions they need to make. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. What are you most insecure about?
Does it mean like physical? I know a lot of people talk about.
I don't think it has to be like.
Okay, because my physical, they say, I come with you, don't like me, don't like me. So I'm not insecure about anything. If you don't like a tall, dark, handsome guy, then that's fine. So it's not that. I think what I'm most insecure about is, or something that gives me a lot of concern or that I fear is becoming everything that I can be. You know, I always fear that, I fear growing older and realizing that I could have done better, or I could have done something more, I could have been this, I could have been that. You know, it's not a good thing because sometimes you tend to, or I look back and I'm like, I could have enjoyed some moment more, but those moments I was concerned about, what do I need to do, what should I be doing at this point, and all of that.
Right.
Sometimes, like maybe I think last year or 2 years, all that God was telling me is relax, calm down, chill. You know, so I also had to learn to enjoy the moment.
Right.
Things may not be everything you want, but you have to allow yourself to maximize, you know, that opportunity and be the best you can be.
Yeah.
So what I fear most is looking back and realizing that I could have been more. Awesome.
The last question here is just a random question.
Okay.
What's one question you wish I'd asked you, and how would you have answered?
So I'm just going to say the same thing I said the last time we recorded this.
Yeah.
So that I don't think too much. So what I said then.
The last time, yeah.
The last time was, I thought that someone would have asked, like maybe what you want in a woman or something like that. Since they asked questions about if I was single and all of that, which is usually a question that most people ask anyway. So how would I have answered? I can't remember exactly what I said, but I know the answer I always answer when I'm asked.
That question. Okay.
Which is that what I want, or what I always admire, they are in different phases or different categories. There's the physical attributes, which is important, but not the most important.
Yeah.
But I would say, basically, the first thing that I want is someone who is very sincere. That way I can feel safe.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't mean that we have to agree on everything, but I just want to be sure that when you say this,
that is
so I can work with that. I know what, and of course you can expect that from me.
Same.
You can expect to ask a question and I answer you sincerely. So I want someone who is kind. You know, not just to me, but a kind person is a kind person.
Yeah.
So it's easy to be kind to people that we admire, that we like, but just be a kind person. Because my heart breaks when I see many things happening in the society.
Right.
You know, so I don't want to be with someone who is indifferent. So that is either you will find my own concern too much, like, right, or I find your indifference very annoying, like. So
that makes sense.
And then the last thing would be someone who wants to be everything they can be also. You know, it doesn't have to be this or that, but to have the sense that this person has a life that they want to live, something that you also can be, I mean, that I also can look forward to, you know, want to be a part of, you know. So basically, and the person has to okay, this is the way I say it. The person has to be someone who I always want to see, who I'm always excited to see. That means different things, but I think it's a safe way to someone. I don't want to lie. I don't want to be lying when I say that you're the absolutely most beautiful person, face to see in the whole wide world. Of course, beauty encompasses many things.
Right.
You know, so I'm very careful with the answer.
All right.
Thank
you. We have come to the end.
Am I not supposed to have a question for you?
Do you have a question for me?
I'm just going to think of one now.
Oh yeah, think of
So
one.
my question will be.
Why are you laughing?
My question would be.
That question.
My question would be. Why do you do this?
Why do I do what?
Your videos and all of that.
Okay. Why do I do this? So, I think that straightforward answer. I think that is the best way for me to express many things that go on in my head. Most times, I think of things beyond when it has happened.
Okay.
So I'm not necessarily talking about when things happen to me, but like when I see something outside, but in my house, I'm still thinking about that thing. And so from there, a lot of things just come to mind. And I think that talking is my favorite way of expressing myself. Of course, I like writing and all of that, but I feel like talking is my favorite way of expressing myself. So one thing, I love to express myself, and talking is that avenue for me to do that. Secondly, I'm someone who is a product of other people's what now?
Expressions or work.
Yeah, I think you guys. So basically, I've learned a lot from other people, and I feel like if they didn't put themselves out
Yeah.
there, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to see all of those things. So I've learned a lot of things from other people, and so I also want to be that person that people get to learn a lot from. So I'm a Christian, I'm a believer, and I think one of the easiest way to, or in fact the most direct way to invite people into the life that I have is to share the life that I have with them, right? So one of the things that I look forward to is seeing many people come into the life that I have, the life of God, and so sharing just helps me to put it out there. So yeah, I think that's my why. Do you have
Thank you
another
for the
question?
answer.
You're
Thank you for
welcome.
coming to the show.
No, this is
Oh,
my
sorry,
I run.
sorry. You run this establishment.
Yeah.
So,
Do you have another question?
no, I have plenty of questions, but do you want me to keep going?
Hey.
I mean, there'll always be good.
I ask one question, one more question.
One more question.
Yes.
Okay, I'm still thinking about it.
While you're thinking about it, let's talk about this
Okay,
book. Inspired by Dodo.
Okay.
Guys, somebody wrote a book and his inspiration was from Dodo.
Yeah.
So can you
somebody
talk about
did.
this book? You being the author of this book, tell us what was going on in your mind when did this book start out as a book? When you started writing, did you think it was going to become a book?
Yes.
Wow.
So
much precision.
I remember the day I started
accuracy.
to write it. I was frying Dodo when I started to write it. I was frying Dodo, and so the thoughts were, cooking for me gives me opportunity to meditate, because I'm not really using my mind for what I'm doing. Like cooking is like a repeated, it's a repeated task now. At Mobashima, so it's really not something I'm not a creative, cook like that. I just do what I need to do, and of course it's always amazing and fantastic and delicious. Ask. So, and then yeah, you should. Don't worry, I'll cook for you all day. So I just started having the thoughts. Of course, it's a combination of several other things that I know. But then I started having the thoughts, and then I remember writing down all the chapters. I wrote the title, so that's one of the things I do. So I knew that these are the things I wanted to talk about. Wow. I think I wrote a sentence for some of them just to put my thoughts together. And then I remember screenshotting and posting it on WhatsApp that day that I started to write a book on that's called Inspired by Dodo. Yeah.
Wow.
So, but several years later.
Wait, when was this?
It will be maybe 2019.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
2019?
Yeah.
When did you publish this book?
December. 2022. So I just used to, just the way I said, sometimes if you don't put a date to, some people are not like that, but some of us, if you don't put a date to it, you probably won't do so much. So I'll take it up, just write some things, look at it, I'm like, oh, what a nice thing, and then continue but then the moment, so I think, I had a conversation with FIF, my friend, Olufifun, because there was another book that I should have published, so I was like, okay, that's like a big idea that has some other things with this. I'm like, okay, you know what, let me publish this, and then, went on, and then just told my friends, and then, for example, my friend Mary Afolabi designed this.
I love the design.
Yeah, it's
when I got it, I was like, what is Eden word?
That's what she does.
I think that's like my favorite.
Right. So, yeah.
Design.
But the book essentially borrows inspiration from my obsession with Dodo.
Glad you admitted that it's an obsession.
Yeah. I've eaten more Dodo since I published this book. It's like I now give myself permission to eat, right?
God.
So yeah, the book is essentially about our mental health as young people, and the things that fight us, the things that makes us sabotage that health, that's part of our well-being, the things that causes us stress, and how we can use the basic, simple things that we probably already do, the things we probably already know to be mentally healthy. It talks about burnt Dodo, for example, right? If you have not burnt Dodo before, you are an amazing person. But what can we learn from that? What's the experience like? There's Dodo as a love language, for some of us. There is the fact that it's almost impossible to fry Dodo without tasting, doing that. So all of these things, to talk about fulfillment, to talk about self-preservation, to talk about forgiving ourselves and all of that. It's really an amazing book.
Yeah,
And
it is.
you can always get a copy at inspiredbydodo.com.ng.
The link will be on the screen.
As a tech bro,
well.
there's always a website for everything.
Yeah.
So inspiredbydodo.com.ng, and you get a copy from anywhere in the world.
Yeah, anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world.
Anywhere, right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have a copy?
I do.
Definitely you do.
I do.
Definitely you do.
I do have a copy.
What's the like myself, right? I had this idea in 2019.
Yeah.
And I did not publish it until 2020. So what's that one amazing thing that you have planned, that that we would all be blessed to to be a part of it, but that you've not, maybe that you've started, that you've not started, but that is in the works, or that that is in the future?
No, I don't know.
Really?
Let me think about
No
it.
book to write, no all of this.
The book, I started writing a book, like a memoir. Say memoir, like, pronounce that word.
Memoir.
Memoir.
I'm not the best person to ask that question because I'm from Ikiti, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, it was you guys that.
It was we guys that did what?
That.
Say it with your chest. We guys that did what?
Yes.
We did what? That voted for.
For APC.
May the Lord bless my people at home's souls.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Yeah, so I started writing that, but I don't know if I'll ever complete
Why?
it. I don't know. I don't know. So the idea was to put it out on my 25th birthday,
Okay.
and I'll be 25 next year. So I don't know. I still.
Next year is like a long time from now.
It won't do. But
Do you
maybe
want
I'll.
to?
Yeah, I think so.
So are you going to? Are you making a commitment this day before
before the whole
the whole wide world that you would have that book next year?
Yes.
Say it into the mic.
Let's see.
Let's see what.
Let's see.
Will you or will you not?
Yes, we will have that book next year.
Oh, awesome.
13th July.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Don't worry, I would help as much as I can
Yeah.
to disturb you to get it done.
It is well.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you for watching. If you watched to this moment, very moment,
You have tried.
I greet you. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video, and what else? And leave comments in the comment section. You can get this book on the website that's on the screen. And yes, thank you so much.
I think I should give a discount to people your audience.
You guys.
I think so.
Yes.
So what kind of discount would you want? I can give like a 50% discount.
50%? Are you
on
serious?
the book.
On the-
So how do we know they are your audience? How do we get them?
And they should.
Leave a comment.
Yes, they should leave a comment.
Okay. If they leave a comment, then
Then
we'll reach out to them.
Yeah.
So if you want the book at a discount, please leave a comment under this video, and you get both the
People should be
e-copy of
thanking
this
me,
book.
right? Yeah, come out to follow me.
I should go.
All right, thank you so much,
forget to
everyone. Subscribe, like this video, share with your friends, and leave comments in the comment section.
Yeah, bye
Bye-bye.
bye. Thank you for having me.
Bye, guys.
And thank you for your questions.